In a small town nestled between rolling hills and old oak trees, there lived a man named Elliot. He was 34 years old, worked as an accountant at a local firm, and had been doing the same job for 11 years. Elliot's life was, by every measure, good. He earned a decent salary. He had a small but comfortable apartment. His weekends were predictable. Grocery shopping on Saturday, television on Sunday, and Elliot told himself he was happy. But there were moments, small moments that he tried to ignore, like when he stood at his office window and watched the clouds move across the sky, and something inside his chest ached for no reason he could name. Or when he found old sketches he had drawn in college, bold architectural designs, stuffed in a box under his bed, untouched for years. His colleague, Grace, once asked him during lunch, "Elliot, if money wasn't a problem, what would you do with your life?" He opened his mouth to answer, then stopped. The question terrified him, not because he didn't know the answer, but because he did. He wanted to design buildings. He had always wanted to. But that dream lived in a box under his bed, and Elliot had learned to walk past it every single day, because his life was good, and good was enough, wasn't it? One Thursday afternoon, something happened that cracked Elliot's comfortable world wide open. His manager, Gerald, collapsed at his desk. Heart attack. The ambulance came. The office went silent. Gerald survived. When Elliot visited him in the hospital 3 days later, he expected to find a broken man. Instead, Gerald was sitting up, looking through his phone photos. "Look at this," Gerald said, showing Elliot a picture of a half-built sailboat in a garage. 23 years I've been working on that boat. 23 years of, I'll finish it next summer. He swiped to another photo. His grandkids. "You know what they asked me last Christmas? Grandpa, when are you going to take us sailing?" And I said, "Soon." Gerald's voice cracked. "They're not going to wait forever, Elliot." "I'm not going to be here forever." He looked at Elliot hard. "I'm not saying quit your job and follow your dreams. That's nonsense. But I am saying, don't let the years just happen to you. Don't blink and wake up at 67 wondering where your life went." Elliot drove home that night in silence. He walked into his apartment, sat on the edge of his bed, and pulled out the box of old sketches. He spread them across the floor. Dozens of buildings he had imagined, bridges he had dreamed, spaces he had designed in his mind, but never built in the world. His hands trembled. "When did I stop wanting this?" he whispered. That night, he couldn't sleep. Not because something was wrong, but because he finally realized something had been wrong for a very long time. The next Saturday, instead of his usual routine, Elliot found himself standing outside the town's old community center. A hand-painted sign by the door read, "Architecture Workshop, all levels. Welcome." Inside, a man in his 60s was arranging drafting tools on a long wooden table. His name was Victor. He had designed buildings across 3 continents before returning to this small town to teach. Though Elliot would later learn, Victor had burned out spectacularly in his 40s and nearly lost everything before finding his way back. Elliot sat in the back, quiet, unsure if he belonged. Victor noticed him immediately. "You look nervous." Elliot tried to laugh it off. "I used to draw buildings a long time ago, but I became an accountant. I thought it was the smart choice. Victor nodded. Was it? I don't know anymore. Victor pulled up a chair. Let me tell you something. When I was your age, I was designing skyscrapers in Singapore. 70-hour weeks, big money. I thought I had it made. He paused. Then I had a breakdown. Lost my marriage, lost my firm, ended up back here teaching part-time and doing small residential projects. Elliot blinked. I'm sorry. Don't be. What I'm saying is this. There's no magic answer. You can chase the dream and crash. You can play it safe and feel dead inside. Most of us end up somewhere in the middle, trying to figure out what enough really means. He handed Elliot a pencil and a blank sheet of paper. Start small. Don't quit your job tomorrow. Just start. 1 hour. See what happens. Maybe nothing, maybe something, but at least you'll know. That night, Elliot sat at his kitchen table with a pencil and a blank sheet of paper. His hand hovered for a long time. He drew one line, then another. It was messy, clumsy, nothing like the confident sketches from college. But it was something. He came back to Victor's workshop the next Saturday, and the next, every night, after his accounting work was done, Elliot gave himself 1 hour. Just one. No phone, no television, just the pencil, the paper, and the buildings in his mind. The first week was painful. His skills were rusty. His inner critic was loud. The second month, he enrolled in an online course. It cost $400 he'd been saving for a new TV. The first 2 assignments, he scored 68% and 71%. Barely passing. In month 4, he nearly quit. He came home exhausted from work, looked at his drafting table, and thought, what's the point? I'm never going to be good enough. He went to bed instead. The next day, Victor called him. Missed you at the workshop. I'm too tired for this, Elliot admitted. I work all day. I study at night. I'm not even sure I'm improving. You're not, Victor said bluntly. Not yet. It takes years to get good at this. Years. The question isn't whether you're improving fast enough. The question is whether this thing you're chasing feels more alive than the thing you're leaving behind. Elliot didn't have an answer. He hung up and stared at the ceiling. But the next Saturday, he went back to the workshop. Month 7. Elliot's first completed building design. It looked amateurish, and the proportions were off. Victor marked it up with red pen like a college professor. Month 12. He submitted a design to a local competition. He didn't place, didn't even get an honorable mention. He sat in his car after the award ceremony and cried. Month 18. His boss noticed he seemed distracted at work. Is everything okay, Elliot? Your error rate has gone up. Elliot apologized, stayed late to fix his mistakes, went home, and debated whether this whole thing was selfish and stupid. Month 20. He finished a residential design that Victor actually called promising. Elliot framed the sketch, even though no one would ever build it. Month 24. A friend invited him to their usual Friday routine. Drinks, complaints about work, the same conversation they'd had 100 times. Elliot hesitated. Not tonight. I have something I need to work on. You always have something to work on now, his friend said, sounding hurt. We barely see you anymore. Elliot felt the guilt. I know. I'm sorry. "You've changed, man." "Yeah," Elliot said quietly. "I think I have." Month 31. Elliot's supervisor called him into the office. "I need to know if you're still committed to this job, because your performance reviews have been inconsistent." Elliot took a breath. "I am sorry. I'll do better." And he did. He cut back his architecture practice to 4 nights a week instead of 7. He slept more. He showed up better at work. It wasn't perfect, but it was sustainable. Month 36. 3 years after that first Saturday workshop, Elliot submitted a design to a regional architecture competition. A small community library. Simple, practical, but honest. He didn't expect anything. He won 3rd place. Not first, not second, 3rd. Out of 47 entries, standing on that small stage, holding a certificate with his name on it, Elliot felt something he hadn't felt in over a decade. Not happiness exactly, more like alignment. Victor was in the audience. He didn't clap loudly. He just nodded once, slowly. After the ceremony, Elliot asked him, "Was it worth it? 3 years of this?" Victor smiled. "I can't answer that for you, but you're still here. That tells me something." Elliot still works as an accountant. He probably always will. The library design never got built. The town went with a cheaper, prefabricated option. But Elliot has a small side practice now. He's designed 2 homes and a renovation. They pay almost nothing, but they exist in the world. He's 37 now. He's tired more often. He sees his friends less. His apartment is messier because he spends his Saturdays at the drafting table instead of cleaning. But when he looks at his life, he doesn't feel empty anymore. Not fulfilled, not successful by anyone else's definition, just less haunted. If this story stirred something in you, I won't tell you what to do. I won't say 1 hour a day will change your life, because it might not. It might make your life harder, more complicated, more exhausting. But I will say this: the ache you feel when you ignore what you actually want doesn't go away. It just gets quieter. And then one day you're 67 looking at a half-finished sailboat in your garage. So maybe the question isn't, should I chase this dream? Maybe the question is, can I live with myself if I don't at least try? I'll be back with another story soon. Until then, remember, a comfortable life is a real gift. But comfort alone is not the same as being alive. Don't wait for a heart attack to ask yourself what you really want.